$1 Million Bodies Week on PM Magazine. Joan, Suzanne, Victoria, they bared all for Playboy. But did it help or hurt their careers? Find out from the stars who posed nude.
Then, behind all the glitter, guess what it takes to make a movie premiere great? It's all in the hands of a publicist. And what do the stars of the film think of it all?
The kind of premiere we were at tonight is the kind I like, where everybody comes in normal clothing and has a wonderful time.
And Facts of Life star Nancy McKeon talks about her show, her TV movie, and a fan that went too far.
It may not look like Manhattan, but it is. Hello and welcome to Monday night's edition of PM Magazine. Tonight, we're in Greenwich Village. I'm Jill Rappaport.
And I'm Matt Lauer in the West Village, to be exact, on the corner of Bedford and Grove Street. And this is as much of a neighborhood setting as I think you'll find in Manhattan. And it's a great place to take a walk, and we'll do that as the show goes on. But
very pretty.
Right now, I'm in a hurry. I'm eager to get to $1 Million Bodies Week.
He's been waiting for this.
All week long, we'll take you to meet your favorite stars and find out how their bodies have been used to sell products, including themselves.
I don't know, series like this sort of depress me.
I look forward to this with bated breath.
All right, well, get ready for this, because we're about to meet some beautiful actresses who actually pose nude. And we'll see if it either helped or hurt their careers.
Sometimes aspiring celebrities and even established celebrities will do anything to increase their public exposure, including increasing their public exposure. Marilyn Monroe, Jane Mansfield, Linda Evans all posed in the nude, but none, it seems, for the same reason. Some say they got tricked into it, like Victoria Principal, who auditioned for a part in the Playboy co-production, The Naked Ape.
I got the part, and then after I'd gotten the part, I found out that part of the contract was, in fact, a pictorial, as they call it.
Judy Landers' credits include Vegas and BJ and the Bear. Her sister Audrey plays Afton Cooper on Dallas. Both were happy to pose for Playboy, but they had their limits.
We decided we didn't want to do nudity, and they had offered us a large sum of money to do the cover and a nude layout. So we kind of made a counter offer, and we said that we would love to do the cover and the layout with artistic approval, which meant no nudity, because we didn't want to do nudity at that time. And the exchange was we didn't get paid for it. But it was worth it to us because we got to do what we felt was pretty and sexy and didn't go against what we wanted to do. We wanted to elevate ourselves to a more mature image, more sophisticated, and we thought that it would help at the time. In retrospect, we have really found that it didn't help or hinder us one way or the other.
While the Landers sisters were trying to change their image, Joan Collins was just reinforcing hers. Nevertheless, her appearance in Playboy caused more than a little excitement.
Apparently it sold more copies than any other copy of Playboy. It's now become some kind of collector's issue. And it made me very popular, not only with men, but also with women over 40, who said, she can do it, so can I.
Suzanne Somers has a different story.
My son had been run over by a car, and I was 18 years old. I was unemployed, and in my mind, unskilled, and I had $20,000 worth of doctor bills and no insurance, and too much pride to ask my family and friends to help me out with doctor bills. So at that time, I was a model, and this Playboy photographer came along and said, you know, if we took some test photos and they chose you, you could be Playmate of the Month or whatever it is and get $15,000. Well, to me, that suddenly took care of all of my, most of my financial worries. And I thought, if I could get $15,000, I'd only be $5,000 in the hole rather than $20,000 in the hole. So I did it. After they took the test photos, I thought about it, and I thought, I don't want my son to have to grow up looking back at these pictures his mother did, and he's never going to understand why I did them. So I called up Playboy, canceled the whole thing. They were supposed to rip them up, get rid of them.
But Playboy didn't rip them up, and after Suzanne became famous in the jiggle show Three's Company, they decided to run the photos. Despite her protests then, she has since posed for the magazine again.
you know, when people say, why'd you do it? It's just real simple. It's not any heavy answer. I did it because if I have to have nude pictures out, which I guess if I went all the way back and said, if you could start all over again and not have nude pictures of you, I probably wouldn't have any nude pictures. But being that there already are, my sense of excellence about myself demands that if they're going to be there, let's make them good.
Who cares if Suzanne Somers takes her clothes off? Or Joan Collins is proud of it, looking the way she does, is 50, whatever. Hey, look. You know, there's no controversy.
Joel Thurm is a vice president of talent at NBC. Very important person to aspiring actresses. He doesn't think posing in the nude is likely to hinder most careers at all.
With women, it's almost accepted. I mean, if you've got it, show it once in a while. You know, it's standard. It's de rigueur. I mean, if you're promoting yourself as a sex symbol and you're playing sexy roles, it's a logical extension of what you're doing already.
Perhaps the greatest uproar caused by a nude pictorial occurred when Vanessa Williams appeared in Penthouse. It cost her her Miss America crown, but it also helped her land an acting job.
I recommended her, and the producers used her for the first guest star on a show last year, Partners in Crime. And she was wonderful. And I did it for two reasons. One, the tacky, obvious reason that it was Lonnie, Linda, and Vanessa. I mean, come on, why not? And the other was that I had seen the Miss America in which she had won, and she could perform. I mean, she could deliver, other than, you know, than the obvious. So, and she, as it turns out, she did a very good job in the show. And it also did very, very well in the ratings, and all of the press and media were interested in Vanessa rather than the other two.
While nude photos may help attract attention, Victoria Principal says they won't sustain a career.
I think it's very sad anytime someone thinks that they're going to make it based simply on something they were born with, simply the way they look. That's a gift, but you have to have more than that, because eventually that's going to fade. Your looks are going to fade.
All right, that is only the beginning. We've got more million-dollar bodies all week long on PM Magazine. For example, tomorrow night we'll meet some athletes who are making big bucks through product endorsements. Then later in the week, Arnold the Terminator Schwarzenegger flexes his million-dollar muscles, and we'll find out how sex sells, and we all know that it sure does. So plan to be with us every night as Million Dollar Bodies Week continues on PM Magazine. When we come back, the anatomy of a movie premiere. Don't go away.
To PM Magazine and historic Greenwich Village. Now, let me confess to you, I have never been here, but this is truly a lovely place.
Take a look at this. This is really lovely. Behind me is called Grove Court. Now, in that courtyard, you can see some beautiful houses. They all date back to the mid or early 1800s. They're at least 100 years old, and if I had one place to choose as far as where I want to live in Greenwich Village, you're looking at it.
Yes, indeed. But right now, we're about to meet a woman who has spent most of her life making people more famous than they already are. In fact, she is so good at her job that she's actually becoming very famous herself. Her name is Melissa Grant, and she's a publicist.
And we're about to catch up with her on her latest endeavor.
Ed, the red carpet has got to be there at 4 o'clock. Do you hear me? Don't tell me you don't have 2 Klieg lights. I need 2 Klieg lights. I can't use one. Let me give you the limo assignments. Gene Hackman will be in car number 1. Ann-Margret will be in car number 2. No, look, we're going to have 10, 15, or 20 limousines, so you better get the numbers down so you know which ones are the twice-in-a-lifetime limousines.
When Hollywood comes to New York to launch a world premiere, it's lights, cameras, action all the way.
What's your name?
People line up by the hundreds to catch even a glimpse of a celebrity. A Gene Hackman, an Ann-Margret, a Michele Lee, an Ellen Burstyn, the back of a Christopher Reeve, a Sally Struthers, and a Melissa Grant? No, she's not a star, but it is her night to shine.
Listen, Sherry, I need Linda Gray's press clippings from the other night immediately. Now. She's waiting for them.
Melissa is a publicist with PMK Public Relations, and the world premiere of Twice in a Lifetime is her latest project, one that's taken 8 months to complete. Well, you look calm as a cucumber.
What a faker. Okay.
But I know you've been through a lot. Tell me,
Okay.
what have you gone through with this?
Do you have any idea what I have been through? Okay, I'll tell you what I've been through. I've picked out the invitations. I've sent out the invitations. I've hired the crews. I've hired the photographer. I've coordinated with American Film Institute, the hosts for the evening. I've notified all the press. I've made all the florist arrangements, working with one of my gals, working with my company. We've put together this whole premiere. It's a whole ton of work. Yeah. I can't take it now. Thanks, Sherry.
But a ton of work is something Melissa is used to. Movie premieres are just one aspect of this job. Her personal client list reads like a who's who of Hollywood. Stars like Linda Gray, Chevy Chase, John James, and JoBeth Williams rely on her to get them publicity. It's a job where pressure is the name of the game, and she loves every bit of it.
Oh, I love five-ring circuses. I love the pressure. I do love the pressure. I love the people. It's constant working with people. I love the film business. I adore it. I love actors and producers and directors. And I love making something out of nothing, or helping somebody who's done some excellent work get recognized for it. Is it over yet?
No.
Are they having a good time?
Now it's Melissa's turn to get recognized for her talent. This is the night she's worked nearly a year for, and things are going off without a hitch. Even the stars who've seen it all thought this was a night to remember.
It's a labor of love, it really is.
The kind of premiere we were at tonight is the kind I like, where everybody comes in normal clothing and has a wonderful time, and there's not too much hoopla, that therefore your expectations aren't built too high.
Well, it's kind of the old Hollywood, and it's kind of fun in that respect to be involved in what many of us our first introduction to film was probably were those big lights and all those searchlights, scanning the skies.
But a premiere is just nice, and you generally throw a premiere when you've got something to be proud of, as they do here.
I thought it was very classy. It was handled well. It was very well organized.
No, I owe you the thank you, though.
No, you don't.
You are sweet.
You have been great.
Putting on a premiere is the most difficult, complicated, exasperating, and wonderful thing that I do in my business. But it's going to kill me. If I live through it, I'll be very happy.
Everyone is having a good time. The reviews are going to be terrific, and it's because of you.
Now, I really give Melissa an awful lot of credit. Not only is that one of the most hectic jobs in the world, but it really requires a lot of patience and determination. She has it all. Incidentally, that film that she's working on twice in a lifetime is excellent. You really ought to check it out. When we come back, we'll meet the star of Facts of Life, Nancy McKeon. Don't go away.
Fans of the TV show Facts of Life know Nancy McKeon as that wisecracking Joe. But later tonight, she'll play a more serious role in a made-for-TV movie called This Child Is Mine.
Well, recently she talked with our Catherine Mann about this new challenge and the old one of coping with fame.
For the past 6 years, Nancy McKeon has been playing the outspoken schoolgirl Jo on the weekly sitcom The Facts of Life. But her career started long before she ever set foot in a real classroom. When she was only 2 years old, Nancy started modeling for the Sears catalog, and soon was doing commercials and soap operas in New York. When her brother Philip won the role of the son on Alice, the family moved to Los Angeles. At 13, Nancy got her big break as Jo on The Facts of Life. And at 17, she bought a large house in the Hollywood Hills and invited her entire family to move in with her. But
I hardly ever see them, as a matter of fact. I go home and no one's ever there, and I'm always, leave me a note. Where is everybody? I'm still sitting there at the kitchen table eating soup by myself. Oh, what a lonely one.
But things are far from lonely on the set. And she says that working with an all-female cast has been trying at times.
Well, women get moody at various times. But after 6 years, you learn to know when someone's in a bad mood. You leave them alone, or you try to make them laugh, or do something to really annoy them further. But it can get snippy at times. We're not the perfect set, but we have a lot of fun.
Have you ever gotten any fan mail that was particularly touching or memorable?
We did a show about suicide about 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was. And it was a very intense show, and it was a really great show. And I got a letter from a girl who had tried to commit suicide herself. And she said she watched our show, and since then she realized that she had to talk to somebody, either her parents or a best friend, or maybe get some help. And she just wanted to thank us very much for doing this show and for helping her overcome a problem that could have been terrible, a terrible tragedy.
Fan reaction is not always so positive. After taping the show one evening, Nancy was accosted by a man in the deserted parking lot next to the studio.
And he said, "Nancy," and he grabbed my arm. And I said, "Look, I really have to go. Excuse me." And he says, "No, I'm leaving, and I have to tell you, I have to give you a kiss goodbye, and we'll get together and we'll go out when I come back." And he kept talking, and I said, "I gotta go." And he said, "No, give me a hug." So I said, "Okay, quick hug, and then run for your car, Nancy." And by this point, I'm shaking. I'm looking around for the guard, and there's nobody around. It really was like out of the Twilight Zone. I'm laughing about it now, but it really wasn't funny at the time. And I went and I kind of gave him a little hug, and he wouldn't let me go. So finally, I just shook him loose, and I just ran to my car, and I got in, and I locked the doors, and I never pulled out of a lot so fast in my life. I was scared to death, and that's the one thing that can be very scary, and I never want that to happen again.
Nancy has been dating Michael J. Fox of Family Ties and Back to the Future fame. The couple was recently invited to the White House, but neither will discuss their private relationship. Nancy will talk about her role on tonight's TV movie, This Child Is Mine. She plays an unwed mother who gives her baby up for adoption and later tries to get the child back.
I thought I could go through life not knowing what happened to her. She's my baby, and I don't even know her name.
After years of light comedy, Nancy was a little nervous about her dramatic acting debut.
I didn't eat. I didn't sleep the night before. I caught maybe 30 minutes at lunchtime. I got through it. You do. I mean, that's your job.
Although Nancy has worked for 17 of her 19 years, she has no regrets.
I haven't missed anything. And the big things I missed, I graduated on the show. I had a prom scene in a movie. I had them. I haven't missed anything. I've had a great, terrific life, so I wouldn't change anything.
Next up, join us for a ride on a floating piece of paradise. Welcome back to PM Magazine and historic Greenwich Village. Now, there are some truly beautiful homes here, but none are like the one we're about to see. This one is on the water, and it's fit for a king.
The Taj Mahal seems more legend than fact, more in the realm of dreams than reality. Yet it has stood unchanged like an enchanted palace for 4 centuries. It is real as the man who built it.
The Shrine of Beauty was really a mausoleum and a gift of love built by the Emperor Mughal Shah Jahan for his wife. Faced in white marble with minarets in every corner and surrounded by water gardens and gateways and walks, it took 20,000 workmen over 20 years to complete. It truly is a man-made wonder of the world, but it's not the only Taj Mahal.
At the end of a dock in Saulsalito is California's Taj Mahal, a houseboat. Faced in white wood, not marble, surrounded by the Pacific instead of gardens. It took only a handful of handymen 5 years to finish, but though it's not a world's wonder, it is home for Bill Harlan.
It's very simple. It's very clean. It's kind of a backdrop for clearing my mind so I can think and dream. It's a fun place for people. It just makes me feel a little more special.
Bill's Taj Mahal is Spartan, yet spectacular. Nothing on the walls. Heated marble on the floors. Only a few but cherished pieces of art, all real. And he designed his own furniture in perfect harmony with the timeless shapes of the architecture. But why all in white?
Well, the people in the desert that are in a sun-bleached area, they have no color, so they bring all the color inside. Here, with the blues and the greens and the colors of the boats and the reflections on the water, you have a lot of bright and intense colors. Inside, I can close the blinds or close the curtains, and I have a nice, clean, light slate.
With an elevator and a second floor, this is Bill's finest and his last houseboat. He's lived on 20. He's also got a house in the city and the country, but this is his oyster. He's a self-made millionaire who dabbles in wine, real estate, restaurants, and resorts, and has never owned a TV, yet has a Taj Mahal. And just like the real thing, it's a place more in the realm of dreams than reality.
Now, they tell me that Bill actually spent some time by the Taj Mahal so he would get that look just right.
Can you imagine living like that?
No, really, no.
It must be nice. Now, we should mention to you that PM Magazine will not be seen tomorrow night because of election night.
Instead, we'll have a special election night movie called MASH. That is a great flick. Check it out.
And we'll be back again Wednesday, and here's some of the stories you'll see. What's the real truth about the marriage of Charles and Diana? Does Princess Di rule the royal household with an iron hand? Get the scoop from a British insider.
They have hot and heavy arguments, but it's a marriage.
Until the bottom dropped out, John DeLorean was a man who had it all. Well, John will talk candidly about his failed marriage to Christina and how his courtroom ordeal affected his children.
They went out for a break or a recess or something. When he came back in, there was a big chalk thing on the board that says Zachary's daddy is a dope dealer.
And $1 Million Bodies Week continues with the most sought-after faces in the world. Discover the winning secret that keeps these models on top. Well, that's all for tonight's edition of PM Magazine. I'm Jill Rappaport.
And I'm Matt Lauer. We'll see you on Wednesday night.
Bye-bye.